And I agree that I do think people inside of organizations today want mental health tools. They
That's right.
want meditation practices. They want mindfulness opportunities and tools and apps and everything else. I do believe there is a big demand for that. And I think it's only growing
Oh yeah.
because people are feeling that if you don't have that, you can't have that conversation in the workplace.
That's right.
I think this is the part that I want companies and leaders to understand. If you're not providing tools to support people with their mental health, they don't have a vehicle to talk about it at work.
That's right.
If it's available to everyone and they see it come out in the newsletter and the team's available and everyone knows about it, they can say, oh yeah, did you see we're using Calm now? And I've been doing this one and which one have you been doing?
Yeah.
And now it allows for connection and conversation and community, as opposed to without it, someone may just never talk about the fact that they've been struggling to sleep for 7 days.
100%.
Right?
100%. And I find that too amongst the younger generation. They just expect these things.
Yeah.
And they're asking for them. And they'll give up other things along the way.
Yeah.
And they're very vocal around it.
Mm-hmm.
And we've seen it now in all industries. We've seen it happen in banking where people feel like, hey, you're not listening. And it takes a moment where they have to go to the press almost, right? It shouldn't have to ever get there.
Yeah.
If they were listening to those kids and listening to your employees, then you've got a continuous feedback loop.
Yeah.
More companies, the baseline will be you have to have these services going forward. And I think over time, then that will open up a dialogue. And I also think with CEOs today, I'll tell you, because it starts so much at the top, if you start to have some of these conversations and say, here's how I think about it, here's how you're being vulnerable, that too opens up a different conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And then that can just kind of percolate within the company. And then I think the whole thing starts to move faster, right? And then we can start to get more into a conversation of like, okay, now how do we get you the right care at the right time, when you need it, however you need it? Because so much of the conversation we're having right now is pretty basic in my mind. And we just need to get farther along in the conversation.
Yeah, I think a lot of people will question listening to us going, well, how does mindfulness or meditation actually help burnout? Or how does it help stress? So that's one thing. And I mean, there's tons of science on that, but I think there's still, so I want you to answer that. And the second thing is, well, how does this affect my productivity? Right? Like, how does it actually get people to do the work that I need them to do?
Sure.